welcome to Milda's and
Auker's podcast. Today we are joined by Ivar van Peer, owner of Schoolfreerun and also owner of the Movement Center, a clothing brand, and probably in the future also a gym. Ivar is an inspiring teacher to me, and today he will be explaining what he does with Schoolfreerun.
could you please introduce yourself, where you come from, and about yourself?
Okay, my name is Ivar. I'm Dutch. I come from Zwolle, which is like an hour south of here. I've been living in Groningen for 13 years about now. I started my own company when I was 21, my first own company, and I've been self-employed ever since.
Alright, it's pretty nice. And also, what degree do you have and what did you study?
I did the ALO, so the sports teacher education on the Hanze Institute for Sport Studies.
Alright, and what is your sport history? When did you start to do sport?
Oh, that's difficult. I have been doing badminton for like a really long time. So I think I was 8 or 9-ish when I started that. I've been doing that up until I went to Groningen to study. I've also done jiu-jitsu for about 3.5 years. I have a green belt with like a brown end. I started that when I was between 14, 15 somewhere. I've been doing. I started parkour when I was about 16, but just very irregularly. Sometimes, like once a month or once every 2 months. It really started to pick up when I was done with my high school. That's when I really went into parkour and started training more. And then I came to Groningen to study, and I made the switch from parkour to tricking quite fast after that. So that was when I was 18 and a half-ish. So I've been doing tricking for about 12 years now. And I started working out next to tricking when I was 22. And that's about my sports history.
Yeah, it's very nice. It's pretty wide history.
Why did
And-
you
yeah.
decide to switch from parkour to tricking?
Because it's more fun. No, it's with parkour, I had to jump from obstacles and work with obstacles, and being able to do the stuff on just flat ground was more interesting to me and less scary than doing it off of stuff. Also, I've always found spectacular martial arts interesting, and this way it really well, that was exactly what it is basically. So that was more fun to me. Yeah, I remember when I was 15, before I went to do jiu-jitsu, I was actually looking at breakdance as well in Zwolle, but I couldn't find it. And then I looked at taekwondo, and I also couldn't find that. And then I ended up with jiu-jitsu, which was fine. But looking back at that time, like breakdance and taekwondo are also big parts of and inspirations of tricking, and they're quite similar. So it's actually funny that I was already interested in tricking before I even knew that was what it was.
Okay.
So how did you end up with your company? Like, how did you came up with the idea?
Which one?
Current company.
The current company.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Talking
okay.
about Schoolfreerun.
Yeah, okay. That's when I was graduating my first year, I wanted to create like an information platform for teachers where they could see how to properly teach freerunning. So the way that a lot of gym teachers teach freerunning is quite outdated.
Yeah.
And not very relevant to how freerunning is performed and taught today. So I wanted to change that. Eventually, I wrote quite a lot of, I did quite a lot of work for that, but it didn't I didn't do anything with it.
Hmm.
And then I was working together with a business partner for trying to get our own gym in Groningen. And he was doing sports studies or sportkunde.
Mm.
And he needed like a graduation project. And first we chose to make that the gym, but then his teachers told us, hey, what if the gym doesn't work? Then you can't graduate. So you need to have a backup plan.
Yeah.
So when we were talking about that, I told him about that old thing I had lying around and that I had put a lot of work in. And so we started working on that together as his graduation project.
Nice.
That's why. But mostly because the teachers don't really know how to teach free running well, and we want to change that for the better for the course of the sport and the kids.
Yeah, nice. We'll cut this part out. So yeah, what steps did you take to start the company?
Yeah, and maybe what material was needed, how much to invest, and how to promote it.
Just take us through the steps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So first we had to we had to rewrite the thing I made a bit because that was already a little bit old and outdated. So that was mostly what Remco was doing because it was all work that I had done previously. So yeah, he basically got a whole lot of work already done for him, so he did the most of the rest. So that was being rewritten. Then we decided to start filming that. So the product, as we made it, was two things. So on the website, you had the information available to teachers, and we made videos of like instructional videos for the teachers as well. So first we had to rewrite everything so it fit into that format that we wanted to use on the site. Then we had to create a website as well.
You created, you made it yourself?
Yeah, we did it together mostly.
What platform did you use for a website, and did you pay for a subscription or just?
Yeah, it's like 80 euros a year, I think, or twice a year for a domain name.
Yeah.
I already had a website for movement center, so I could just go to my provider and ask for a different domain name, or well, pay for another domain name. Let's put it that way. And then we built the site ourselves. So that was kind of a hassle, but it's all right. Especially like the more complicated stuff with getting people to be able to log in on the website to use or see what kind of information was available to them. That was kind of rough. But yeah, so we built the website. Then we started filming the instructional videos and making pictures so we could upload those to the site. Let's see, when that was done, that was just before the summer that was done. And then after the summer, to get well known, we had to call schools and try to work like in our network, try to find schools and stuff that were interested in either buying a product, getting like a training day for the teachers, like how to teach, or workshops. So we had to call a lot of schools and just ask if they were interested. So cold acquisition. Let's see.
Yeah, and did you contact schools in Groningen or also in other cities?
Also in other cities. So we basically focused on the north of the Netherlands, because also that's for us within driving distance.
Yeah.
So it's not very rendable.
Worth it.
worth. It's not worth to get a workshop at a school in Eindhoven
Yeah,
and having to drive 3 hours there,
yeah,
3 hours
definitely.
back.
So, like, who do you contact is from schools? And right now, who do you contact?
So usually it was just the secretary of the schools. So that's kind of a bummer. But and then just ask them if they could refer us to the gym teachers,
Yeah.
which is much easier said than done because, well, in schools there's not that many phones and people are usually teaching,
Yeah.
so it's actually pretty hard to get in contact with them. So a lot of the time we just got an email address from someone of the sports section, and then we emailed them with like a pre-designed email of, hey, nice to see or nice to talk to you. Do you know free running? Free running is this and this. Do you already teach it? If so, or if not, then is there something we can help you with? We offer certain, uh, um, we have certain offers for teaching, like the
Mm.
package of lessons, the training day, and the workshops.
Nice. Do you want to ask something?
Okay. Well, next question is, what would you have done differently in the beginning, looking back at it now?
We started very much like contacting the schools first, but there are a couple of instances that work for school teachers. You have the KVLO, for instance, which is yeah, I don't know what to call it, but it's like the club for all gym teachers in the Netherlands if they want to work for them, which can be a very good partner. So if we can work with them and then for instance teach on some of their training days, we can reach a lot of gym teachers at the same time. So I think we would focus more on that. So instead of, if our clients are like a tree where the gym teachers are the leaves, don't start with the leaves but try to start at the root or at the stem and find instances that are important for them, which is we're also trying to, or I'm also trying to get into contact with the ALO, with the Institute of Sport Studies,
Mm.
Yeah.
and really try to get a cooperation there going, but they're not yet really responsive in that, so that's a shame. But yeah, if I can teach a workshop for 20 students, then I can reach 20 potential clients basically.
Yeah.
After they're done, or maybe even on their internship where they are now. So trying to find more ways to do that earlier would be the best difference. And the lesson package that we developed, so which is completely online, so you could just log in and see, okay, this is a lesson, these techniques, how to do the techniques, how to build the lesson. Nobody is basically interested in that, so that took a lot of work, and we have sold 0 of those packages. And gym teachers are just more interested in having a physical, like a couple pages or like a map where they can view it in. That's more interesting to them. So we probably would have designed something more in line with that.
I can write a book.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I think those would be the biggest differences in approach.
Okay. So now you've built a decent network with gym teachers and build a client base. How is the future looking? What are the plans?
The plans are to expand with more teachers. Right now, I'm basically the only teacher. Well, it's like, except since the last week, basically. But up until last week, I was basically the only teacher. So I was limited to contacting schools and everything that were within the range that is available to me. But I'm trying to expand, get more people that are willing to teach workshops and that have time available to do that as well. And then I can expand into different areas. So for instance, there's a guy, Sylvain, he lives in Amersfoort, and he's interested in working for me now, or working for Schoolfreerun. So that means I can start contacting schools around Amersfoort within like a half an hour radius. That's what he's willing to drive. And I have someone who lives in Lemmer, Levi, and he's willing to drive quite far actually, like up into 2 hours something, depends on how long the workshop is, obviously.
Oh, that's solid.
But yeah, so that really expands the amount of places that I can contact schools and offer them workshops.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, like, what is the typical structure of workshop, and how long is it, and what's included?
Yeah, that really depends per client. Usually it's lessons that they want to teach free running, but they don't know how, so they want to get someone external to teach it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just like 1 hour and that's it. And sometimes it's, okay, teach an hour and a half and then spread over 3 weeks. So every Thursday from 11 to 12:30, for instance, and then 3 weeks in a row. Those are the most usual requests. So a couple of weeks. But it can also be a one-time thing, or sometimes it's more like 1 day. So a teacher has multiple groups in a row. For instance, on elementary schools, they have like group 5, then 6, then 7, then 8, and then group 5 comes in at 9. So I teach those, and then we can just go through all the other groups in a row. So we get all of them with the same lesson basically.
Yeah. And how often do you get to work with schools?
Right now, on average, I would say that I have like 2 workshops per week, which is actually pretty good, because the time when I did it for myself and only from my own company without really trying to make it grow, it was very sporadically. But yeah, so now that we have made it a more active endeavor, Remco and I, it really does pay off in the amount of workshops we get. So that's a really nice development.
Do you get a lot of returning customers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So my biggest customer is one that I've been working at for 4 years, and every year they've asked me to teach like on Fridays 3 hours, and then usually for like 12 weeks, which is nice nice amount.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear it's going well.
And how many students are usually in one workshop?
Also depends per school, but I would say between 15 and 20.
That's quite a lot.
Yeah, schools are classes are too big usually, so that's too bad.
Yeah, and also, how is your online promotion looking like? Like, where do you promote?
Yeah, we have a LinkedIn page where I sometimes post articles and try to get some engagement going. So the articles are about the personal development that you can have with free running. So it's like giving away some valuable information for free to show expertise, so people know, hey, if we want free running, those guys are experts, so we should ask them.
Yep.
That's the idea. But yeah, it's not going very fast. LinkedIn is quite a slow platform, in my opinion. We also used Google Ads, but recently stopped that because it cost quite a lot and it didn't get any real traffic going. So yeah, so online, not doing that much actually.
Okay. Well, we have one final question, which is, do you have any advice for a sports studies student that's about to go into graduation? Should they start their own company, or rather go work for someone else, maybe?
Well, that really depends on your personality type. Starting your own company can be very rewarding, but it does mean that if you don't do anything, nothing will happen, basically. Unless you have either luck or you're good at manifesting. But it tends to not bring any profit unless you do something. So if you would want to start your own company, first you would have to check in with yourself, like, am I going to actively go out and make that happen, or is that unlikely? I mean, I'm not the most active person when it comes to doing work. It was one of my I'm quite a procrastinator. That's also why I took quite a while to finish the ALO. But with the work I was doing, that was fun for me, and I do that with a lot of pleasure. So it was easy for me to get into that active mode of doing or actually making steps towards getting clients and stuff.
Okay.
But it is a vital part of running a business if you do it by yourself. The good side is that if you do it well, then you'll do something that you love. You never have to like do it for anyone else. So everything you make and earn is all yours basically, and the Belastingdienst.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so that's the good side. I mean, you don't have a boss that tells you what to do, so you can make it up for yourself, or make it.
You can make it happen, or you can fail for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think. Do you have any more questions?
Not really. Like one question, how much do you ask for one workshop or lesson?
We have the standard uh, thing, standard
Right.
rate. Thank you.
Yeah.
Of 75 an hour, and then
Oh.
when someone hires us for more workshops, then there's a percentage off. So if we have or someone hires us for 4 hours or more, then it's 10% off, and if someone hires us for 10 hours or more, then it's 20% off, to encourage them to not do it just once for 1 hour, but
Yeah.
then at least for a couple weeks, or to have them more take off more hours basically.
I have one more question.
Oh,
Well,
you already had your one more question.
if you have time, of course.
Yeah, not a lot, but
Okay, so let's say when you're pushing 50 or 60, and you can't physically really do the workshops anymore. How do you see that? How are you planning on, coping with that?
well, hopefully, number one, I will still be able to. Number two, I would have a couple of different revenue streams. So one, for instance, is the gym that should by then be up and running, maybe even multiple ones. So that should provide income. Also, now with the extra teachers that I have, when I make workshops happen, obviously, I also get an amount paid. I mean, they only have to show up. I have to make the work happen for them. So that's money into Schoolfreerun's pocket.
Yeah.
So and like the more that happens, the less I would have to work myself. So
Yeah.
it would mostly be maintaining contacts with schools and trying to get them to do the workshops and stuff.
All right.
It's very good to know for students who are seeking career. Yeah, I think thanks for having you here. It was really nice.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time.
Okay, you're
We
welcome.
appreciate it.
Nice.